Gems, and today we're talking about reliability. Now, let's cast our minds back to when we were children. In those days, if we're going to be talking about history, you would definitely get your information from a history book or from a TV show. All these things would have been processed by large, reputable organisations who had their reputations on the line if they got things horribly wrong. Because of that, we knew we could, in essence, trust a TV documentary on something like the BBC or a big history book from a publishing company like Random House. However, I and all of you are very lucky. We're the first generation where we're able to process our thoughts and send them out to as many strangers as we want on this thing called the internet. But like any invention, there's good with the bad as well. I've talked about the good. It's nice to get your information out there. It's nice to talk to you. Thank you for watching. However, how reliable is the information I'm telling you? I always refer to myself as a History Gems. That's clearly not my real name. Otherwise, my parents really hated me. But the fact is, I would hope that if you have a look at my back catalogue, I'm trying to be as reasonable and entertaining as possible. But it isn't always like that. In my day job, I have to, at times, work with people straight out of university or college. We're talking about people in their early 20s, which for them, the events of 9/11, they may have been alive for, but they don't really remember. One guy I'm working with is 20, which means the events happened when he was 7. Didn't really understand them. He has been looking into 9/11, and there are loads of books out there, but more importantly, there's loads of videos, and there's lots of conspiracy videos. And indeed, when I did a little bit of research with the new batch of our university graduates, 20% of them thought that 9/11 was a CIA cover-up, was some kind of conspiracy. 20% refused to believe that it was as simple as suicide attacks led by Al-Qaeda. 9/11 then is one of these examples of a true moment of history where a large percentage of the population still remember it vividly happening. But we have another generation coming up behind it, and to them 9/11 is sort of in the same territory as the assassination of John F. Kennedy or the Battle of Waterloo. It's history. But whereas these other events have lots of books and well-researched information, we're now looking at a generation who's getting this information from more dubious sources. Perhaps the most famous one is Loose Change, an online video. It's very professionally done, and I won't go into all the bits where it gets things wrong, or perhaps makes you allude to things that you shouldn't be alluding to. But the fact is, we have a whole generation who find access to that kind of information easier than reading a book from a reliable source. The internet, then, is a bit of a double-edged sword. It also allows you to speak to people whose opinions are wildly different to yours. A little while ago on the Facebook page, which you can look at History Gems, I did the 3 most evil people in history. And on Twitter, I asked the question, so who do you think it is? One guy came up with a really interesting answer. He gave Nero, Vlad the Impaler, and Margaret Thatcher. Now, Vlad the Impaler was a 15th century ruler who fought a near genocidal campaign against his own people and the Ottomans, torturing and killing thousands. Margaret Thatcher, by comparison, is a modern-day right-wing politician. You may disagree with her opinions, but clearly she has not staked over 10,000 of her own people. The comparison is therefore unhelpful. So, the internet, the world, people's views are extremely varied. But all I ask you to do is have a look at who's saying it. Ask, what's their bias? What do they actually know? Now, if you like, I'm an excited amateur, but I do my research. My background is actually in history and archaeology. It's what I did a degree in. So I try and keep things as disciplined as popular, but I always try and keep it entertaining. So keep watching these, and we'll speak soon. If you want more, you can always find @History Gems on Twitter and on Facebook. See you soon.